4 o'clock today, Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. Call to order the Hanson Board of Health meeting held on the second floor, Hanson Town Hall, 542 Liberty Street. This meeting is being recorded. All members are in attendance. First order of business is approved Board of Health minutes for February 11th, 2025. Is everyone able to take a look at those?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We approve that.
Yeah.
Second. Yep.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Second item on the agenda is Colin McSweeney, percolation test fees. So Colin's been helping us out for, how long now, Colin?
I think we did the math the other 7 years.
Yeah, about 7 years.
7 years. So he's been kind of our outside perk test. He's been handling all that for us, and we've been, covering our costs, and we're actually in the green on that with what we're taking in on the perk test fees and what Colin's been charging us. And Colin's been approached by another town to bring him on, correct?
Correct.
So I know that my opinion is I'd like to retain him and keep him, with us.
Is this in addition to what you're doing, or would they want you to exclusively work with them?
So I'll just talk from my own reason. So I started like 7 years ago to help out the town.
Yes.
Realistically,
Yes.
and then I did it through COVID to help and stuff like that. So I mean, the pay I've been getting really has been to help you guys out. It really hasn't been to
Help you.
my exactly.
Right.
And he
now
hasn't.
that I'm getting older and obviously have more responsibilities now, I have to start looking more of it financially from my own point of view.
Right.
These other towns are now offering to pay me more, and in reality, what Hanson is willing to pay me isn't worth my time to go out there, in short. So in order for me to continue to work for the town, which I'd love to, because like I said many times, I really like working for Hanson. I grew up here. I really want to keep helping, and obviously I want you to start making it beneficial for myself as well. So I guess it's really like, that's why I'm coming to you guys about it and stuff like that, and also just from a standpoint of away from my own personal, that a lot of towns are bringing in outside engineers and stuff to do this percolation test. It's not like Hanson's the only town doing that. And on top of that, it just, like I said, you guys are probably, I've been doing it for 7 years, the same pay. It's probably been the same pay for probably like, 20, 30 years now. And just as times change, all these towns are changing how much they're charging anyways. So just to keep up with the times too, is not, I don't think it's a bad idea for Hanson to also do that as well. But that's my personal opinion about it, but obviously.
So what are your thoughts on what would you like to propose to us as far as what would work for you and make sense for you to be able to stay and keep doing what you're doing, helping us out?
Yeah, so I guess the other towns that approached me, the numbers they were giving me is they $200 for half day guaranteed and $400 for a full day. Now their permit fees are $300 and $600. So that way they're giving $200 out, but they're still getting some back to the town. So that's how they do it. I mean, I would like something pretty comparable to that. Obviously, just because if I had the option between one or the other, obviously that other town pays more, you would go with that. So I guess that's what I'm looking for. I'm open to discussion or talk about it. But it's really, like I said, instead of just like keeping me on board, it's also a good idea to keep it just for getting a qualified, like let's say for some reason I do get sick and I can't do it anymore and you need to pull someone else on, you're going to want a qualified person to get in there and do it, and you're not going to do it for the price that was previous. So just changing is a good idea just for future ideas, I guess.
Yep.
And Colin is so easy to work with. He's it's just seamless.
Appreciate that.
Yep.
He's like seamless. If I need him to go out and do something, he's always willing to help. He was a godsend when I was here by myself.
Yeah. No, I mean, I personally
And he has not had an increase in 7 years.
Yeah.
What's the rate we're paying you now?
$50 an hour. And the hard part about it is that in order for me to get out of the house, it's like I'll be there for like an hour with everything, so I only get paid $50.
Yeah.
But in reality, I have to block off 4 hours of doing my own personal work as well and everything like that. So I really would need a minimum guarantee to make it worth my time to get out there, I guess.
So we're not really paying him more now. What we're paying him is we're including a 4-hour minimum on a half day, where a 15-hour would be $200 what we charge, and then 8-hour day, a full day would be $400. So he's really not asking for more money. He's just asking for insurance that, if he gets
A
called
block.
out, it's not gonna be an hour and he ruined his
Yeah.
whole day.
For
to come out
$50.
For $50 to come out. So he's looking really that it's a commitment on our end that we're gonna guarantee and pay him 200 on a half day and 400 on a full day.
Can I ask a question of Teresa?
Yeah.
Is there a way that we could coordinate work more efficiently so that more work is happening in a half-day time slot than?
No, because you don't know. So you go out to do a perk, and it could be that the perk, it's really slow, so it's going to take 4 hours, or it could be that you can't even get a perk and it's a sieve. You don't know until you get out there.
Okay.
So it makes
so
it
you actually
difficult to
start
do that.
Digging in the ground, it's really
Right.
too much of a
We have
variable.
general ideas, like if it's gonna be sand or clay out there, but at the end of the day, I've had lots that are sand on each side and there's a clay in the middle lot, so it really is a shot in the dark, especially in Hanson, because you're not really as close to the water as there's some of those other towns where you get more consistent sand,
So essentially what he's asking too is exactly what we're charging people.
Yeah.
We're charging, half day up to 4 hours.
Yeah.
To cover our basis, and he's looking to essentially look out for himself and do the same thing.
So, next question, would this fast follow an increase to what we're charging residents for perk tests and sip tests? And what would we?
Yeah. Because we're sending it out for review, that's another $50.
No, perks don't go out for review.
Well, not the
for
perk.
a plan.
The perk
But
plan does.
I would suggest that you go up to like 300 for up to 4 hours and 600 for a full day. We don't have a lot of full days, but sometimes we do. So that way the Board of Health office gets to retain a little bit of the money, so that if something else comes up, we have an escrow account that we keep that money in for,
And that's, in that, with that 300, 600 is similar to towns like Hanson.
Mhm.
Thank you.
So, and that will still put us plus 100 on a half day and plus 200 on a full day,
Mm-hmm.
for money going into that account. I mean, I don't have an issue with what he's proposed to us. Are we?
No, I don't, absolutely don't.
This makes sense to me as well.
Awesome.
All right, someone want to make a motion? Well, we can do two motions. We can do
Yes.
one to,
You want to increase the price?
to increase, Colin's wage. So that would be for an increase of, $50 an hour with a 4-hour minimum on a half day. And it would be $50 an hour with an 8-hour minimum on a full day. So from, 4 to 8 if it's a full day. And again, we know these up front when they're in the office, and like new construction is always a full day, correct, Teresa?
Usually.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So, I'm going to make a motion that we increase the rate for percolations to $200 for a half day, $400 for a full day.
A second?
And
Do we need to?
Oh,
this is not our fees, this is for,
Colin.
Oh, okay, for him, well, okay, so then I'll change it to, I'll make a motion that we change what we pay
Yeah, increase
for
the perk witness fee.
the perk witness fee to $200 for a half day, $400 for a full day.
Which in a half day is up to 4 hours. A guaranteed
Yeah, so
200.
because the phrasing would be $50 an hour with a minimum of 4 hours half day, $50 an hour with a minimum
Of 8 hours
8
for a
hours
full
for
day.
a full day. I think that's how I would phrase it.
Okay, we can phrase it that
and I
way.
just want to make sure we're specific, this is for outside contractors, that's it. This isn't like, obviously Gil's excluded,
Yes.
I just want to make sure that
This
we,
is only
Oh, yeah, well, yeah,
For
oh, yeah, 'cause that's
just so
part
we're
of the job,
dotting our
this is
i's,
for,
for discussion
for-
purposes,
yes.
yeah.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. Did you get all of that
Yeah, I'll go back to it.
and fix it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make that motion.
A second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, now, did you want to address the
Is there anything else on
test
the
fees?
fee? Yeah, but I guess the
The
question
fee
is,
review is a separate line on the agenda.
okay, for this stuff.
For
And it's
fees
not
in
on this
general.
anyway, okay. So then the second thing we wanna do is we wanna increase the perk fees, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll make a motion that we increase percolation test fee to $300 for a half day, is that correct?
Up to 4 hours.
Up to 4 hours, and 600?
600 for
for
up to 8
up to 8 hours
in the
okay.
same day.
in the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's effective today?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
March 11th.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thanks,
you.
Colin.
Thanks, Paul. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too.
Take care.
You too.
I hope you get some sleep.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Okay, while we're on the fees discussion, so some of these other fees, just to stay with the septic systems for a second. So disposal works, construction permits, residential septic system up to 2,000 gallons per day, which is like your standard residential septic that we see, 9 out of 10 plans is that. It's currently at 200. What are our thoughts on possibly going up 50% on that, going up to 300?
Which one are you talking about?
Disposal works on.
Down here?
Yep, we're starting here, so that's currently 200. That's our most standard permit that we see.
Yep. Because we don't usually go over the 2,000 a day, do we?
Typically not with residential, no.
I'm sorry, is this like remediation while something's being fixed when we're like?
Yeah, this would be what they pay for a permit. I mean, when they come in, they fill out an application,
Yep.
we approve the plan, this is what their fee is for the permit itself.
For the
To
permit
actually
itself.
do the
Based on
work.
gallons per day.
The permit.
Similar to getting a permit from the building department or.
Fully understood, yeah, thank you.
But we don't have a lot
No, yeah.
that exceed 2,000, because
So this,
it's
the
that.
form.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
And it is now 200.
It's 200. It hasn't gone up since I've been here, and it also, that fee covers sending him out on all of the inspections for all the various
And the
septic
review.
inspections.
This is where the review comes in, it comes under that,
And, yep, as well as the review.
for the engineer.
So this is our most common one that we see, is residential.
The first one, the residential.
Gallons
Yep.
per day.
So, are we talking about increasing that to 300?
That was my thought, just me taking notes over here, that was my thought, I don't know how you guys feel. If that's too much, too little, I mean,
I strongly suggest 300,
Yeah, I think
because
that's
the
good.
amount of, pump systems, the time it takes inspections and stuff, and,
Yeah.
Plus, a lot of work goes into like following
No,
these
all of
things
this-
all the time, like
Getting
a lot.
everything?
Mhm.
we have, any suggestions, any thoughts on that one?
No. So currently, what's listed here is what we charge, right?
Correct.
So the 2,000 to 5,000 is already 325 plus the outwork.
Let's just run right down the list real quick though,
I just want to make sure this is what we're currently doing.
Yes, that's exactly what we're
Yep.
currently doing. That is up to date.
And these are all then another, on top of the review fee. So this is 325 plus the $50 for the reviewer.
Correct.
Okay. And when's, I was going to say, when is his fee gone up?
A residential system, 2,000 to 5,000, that's gonna be like, a larger, like condo project, something
Yeah,
like that.
very-
Oh, yeah.
The biggest-
5,000 to
yeah.
10,000, that's gonna be a bigger.
That's big. That's like the
Bigger.
one that's down by the train station.
Correct, it would be something of that nature, and then business,
Okay.
same thing, 2 to 5,000 would be, business is kinda tough, cause depending on the use of the actual property and what type of business it is.
Right.
That really dictates the size of it.
Right. We probably don't have a lot that use that much.
No, the
Per day.
9 times out of 10, like 95% of everything is the very first one, residential,
The
up to
business.
2,000.
Oh, yeah, but I'm talking about business. I was just talking about the business.
But even, so there isn't a business for up to 2,000. It only starts at 2,000.
Right.
So if a business submits, it's gonna fall under the residential. Because there is no business, there, like,
Why don't
well,
we
this
change
one
that
right here.
business up to 5,000?
It's, well, just, she's saying between
Yeah, if you, I get it, yeah, take the 2,000 and
to.
do up to, yep.
Because it could be smaller, I guess.
up to,
So
right,
what I was looking at proposing was for a residential up to 2,000 gallon per day,
go up to 3.
going from 200 to 300.
Right.
All of these fees are, we have an outside review that's additional to them. But
Right.
300 would be the baseline fee of what we're gonna charge. Residential 2,000 to 5,000, I was looking at 400. Residential 5,000 to 10,000, I was looking at 3, 4,
5,
it was 600.
6.
600. And then Residential,
plus?
10,000 gallon per day, I was gonna leave that alone at 800. And then going to business, it would be up to 5,000 gallon per day, would be 500. And then business, 5,000 gallon per day and above would be 800.
So you're saying business, up to $5,000?
Up to 5,000 gallons.
Gallons.
Yeah, business, instead of 2,000 to 5,000 gallon per day, it would be business up to 5,000 gallon per day, and then the other category, business 5,000 gallon per day and above.
So, and what was the cost on that? That was significant. That's
500
$250 now.
500.
So we're doubling it.
Because-
And then
Plus the
800.
fee.
Because some of these systems, especially for the business.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that
They're-
they could
they're
be
time
it could be-
consuming.
Could be a Presby, could be a pressure dosing system, it could be, some of these are pretty time consuming.
Okay.
Sorry to go back to the beginning, and I just want to have a discussion.
Yep.
What's the intention for raising the fees? Is it to?
I think they're out of
move
whack.
to parity? They're out.
Yeah, I think they're out of whack with what, kind of the status quo is with other towns.
They haven't been increased. I've been here for almost 12 years. They've never been increased.
And I do know that we went back and we looked at some of these other fees we had. It was more transfer station fees, and I think at that time we had just left all the Title V stuff alone.
Mm-hmm.
I think with intentions to revisit it later, and I don't think we ever did, and this is
Nope.
probably a good
Right.
opportunity too.
Yep.
Okay. So our intention is to revisit these fees because they haven't been revisited within 12 plus years, and move to a more parity with other towns.
Mm-hmm.
And to cover costs for us.
Yep.
In terms of, especially with the businesses, with larger businesses, we're going to have somebody out there more often than we are for the residential. And it's going to be more time consuming.
Okay. Wanted to make sure that's on record.
And one other thing I was looking at was, so a septic component replacement.
Yep.
I mean, I think 100 might be a little light on that. I had penciled in that I was considering 250. I thought would be a good number, but maybe 200, 250, somewhere in that neighborhood.
And is this because the whole system's not down? It's just one
Yeah. So
component.
so like
one-
if they have to replace the D box,
Yeah.
they would just do that.
they
and
just
not,
pull a permit for this for a component
Yep.
for a D box. Yep.
And thinking about that rationally, for us to get out there,
It,
travel,
it all still
paperwork,
needs to be
on-site.
inspected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do a flow.
And
They'll do a flow test on the D box, make sure it's level. They'll witness all
That's
that.
at least 3 hours of work. So an increase to 100 is very reasonable.
From 100.
From 100.
Of 100, yeah.
So you wanna-
exceeding $100.
You wanted 250, right?
That was just my initial thought, but I think 200.
I haven't seen a lot of those.
There's a lot of them.
Is
Yeah,
it?
that stuff comes up usually with Title V inspection.
Yep.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah,
They
you
had
have
that,
that D box that isn't level or needs to be replaced or whatever. It's cracked, leaking.
What'd you say, 250?
250 is what I wrote down.
Yeah, 250's.
You want 250?
Why not? Emergency inspection. Oh, gee.
I mean, the emergency inspection. I mean, I think that is something actually we discussed before. I think we did.
Yeah, that's a tough call sometimes because sometimes it's the housing, it's the emergency inspection, and it's kind of difficult when you get charged for that.
Who performs the emergency inspection?
I would.
You would. Okay. Thank you, Gil.
So this is for
Most emergency inspections.
restaurants,
Housing,
fire, housing, septic overflow. And it's $200 for 1 hour, and then it's $50 an hour after. So I would think that kind of would pay for itself. Do you think we need to go up on that?
I think that's probably covered. I would think.
Yeah.
So is the rationale there? No change to that because it was revisited recently. It's already been adjusted.
Did.
Yeah, I think
was.
No, I don't remember ever talking about
But again, that's not charged very often.
that. No,
No.
it's not. And I was
No,
going to
not very
say,
often.
the
Same
reinspection,
with the reinspection fee.
but this is just for the reinspection of,
Reinspection for everything and for anything. It's a
Okay.
reinspection fee.
Typically, you fail an inspection or something like that, a reinspection fee. A lot of building departments and stuff will have that. They don't really implement it unless you're really
Egregious.
Agreed, yeah.
unless you really irritate them a lot, I think.
Yeah.
They typically don't do that, but. So, just to recap, so we had residential up to 2,000 gallon per day from 200 to 300, residential 2,000 gallon per day to 5,000 gallon per day. That was from 325 to 400. Residential 5,000 gallon per day to 10,000 gallon per day. That was from 500 to 600. Residential 10,000 and above gallon per day. That was 800. We're keeping it at 800.
Yep.
And these are all plus the outside review.
Yes.
Correct. And then business up to 5,000 gallon per day was at 250. We're moving to 500. And business 5,000 and above gallon per day. That was 300. We're moving to 800. Septic component replacement was 100. We're moving to 250. Does that sound accurate to everyone? We all,
Yep.
everyone's good with that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Nothing else on this list that we need to look at. We just
No, because you did change a couple of
I
these.
thought we did.
We did.
Yeah, a couple of these last August.
Did we change that one?
Title V,
Did we change that last year?
no. Septic installers permit, no. Nope.
Inspectors.
The only thing we changed is like retail food, we went up to 125, I think,
Do we
last
want to
year.
take a motion?
Should
I'm trying to figure out if they need to do anything with these while we're on the list. That's what they're talking
Well, the
about.
septic installer permit, 175, the Title V, inspector permit, 100.
And we haven't changed those, have we?
No, we haven't changed those.
Should that be 200?
I think we had done something with that. You sure?
Not with those.
'Cause I know we had went through.
No, the only
Okay.
things we did, we changed, it was retail food or the food service one we changed, because I looked it up because I had to send an email to the software company to change the pricing. But
Have them
none of the
here.
others did we change. We increased the milk permit from $10 to $20.
Right.
Yep. But none of the others have changed.
Yeah, we didn't touch it.
So the installer's permit,
Yeah, septic installer, Title V, rubbish removal, all of those have remained the same. You removed the dumpster permits. You deleted those back in August.
I mean, I don't know, the septic installer permit, the Title V inspector permit, I don't really agree with them anyway, because it's from town to town.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already
every town
paying,
has it, right?
well, they're already paying their
State.
septic permit fee. They're already paying the application fee and the septic permit fee. And every town that they work in, they have to pay a town fee to install.
They
a
do.
septic system.
And yeah.
It's not like a plumber license or an electrician license or builder's license or, a
Which
nursing
you can go
license, which you get from the state. And
Right, and you can go anywhere.
Right.
But that's the way.
Right.
That's
So
the way
I
that
don't-
system is set up.
I personally don't agree with those anyway, but that's just me, so I don't know. You guys
So-
want to do something with it?
One thing I would recommend is the funeral director's license. It's only $100.
That's been that way for a long time.
As long as I've been here.
Do we only have 2 or do we have more?
2.
And that's the only other town that charges more than that is Halifax at 150.
The funeral director?
The funeral director. You're looking at your research from
Yeah, from
April
yeah, last year.
of
That was
last
a
year.
year ago.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. This is a great reference
Yeah.
table.
Yeah, I didn't have time to go back and revisit.
It's all good. I have it.
Yeah, I mean, funeral directors, they charge a lot of money and they make a lot of money. They do,
That's true.
yeah. And the town needs money. So,
We need money.
yeah, but that goes to
What about the whole
the
town?
funeral directors, that goes to the general fund. So,
So our funeral director's license is at 100.
yeah, and there's
Yep.
2 of them.
Similar towns are charging up to 150 if we wanted to get that for consideration.
And do they get that? Is it January
No,
to December?
it's,
Is it fiscal?
I want to say it's April or May. I have it set up in my computer to automatically remind me to do it, because else I would never remember.
So we can't do it this year, or could we?
Yes, we could. I haven't sent anything out this year.
So you'd want to give them at least 30 days notice.
Why?
Why not?
Well, I send them out the application,
And you just put it on the
Yeah,
application?
it's on the application.
All right.
Yeah, it's just a recommendation. You don't have to do it.
They don't have to do it?
Nobody has to do it. You guys don't have to do it. It's a recommendation on my behalf to say the funeral director hasn't been increased in a long time, and I know that they
Oh,
may.
no. I thought you meant paying the fee.
Oh, no.
No, I don't.
It is. I know it is coming up.
All right. How do people feel about that? 150?
I think it would be helpful to, I don't know, like memorialize when we're revisiting these, so we know in the future we made that change in 2025. So we
Well, yeah, this was last updated in August 2024.
Okay.
It says on the top, and I checked to see when I sent the email, and it was the retail food and the milk permit.
okay.
The milk permit went up by $10. It was used to
But it was only 10, wasn't it?
It was only 10, so now it's 20. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
No
I
objection to
mean,
raising it.
I could go either way on the funeral director's license. It doesn't, I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I don't know, 125? And
That's
then,
pretty good.
and then we can look at it again in a couple of years and see if we need to go up anymore. Does that sound?
That makes
Compromise?
sense. That makes sense to me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And just going back to the perk tests and disposal works construction permit fees, looking at the reference document that Teresa provided back in April, it does not look like the prices we have proposed are out of range of what other towns are doing. So just for the record.
Yeah, and I think a
We're
lot
not
of those
increasing
are
these.
probably higher now because every town
It's gone up.
is going up in fees to try to
I mean, we're
close
also,
their gaps.
I mean, we're also looking at it kind of from a rationale point as far as the inspections that are involved in these permits too, like we were talking about where $500 fee or $600 fee, that's gonna be, maybe 4 different trips out to that property, for the installation of the septic system.
Yep.
Some of these big systems like
More-
the one
more
over,
time than that.
next to McDonald's, I mean, that has, like, what?
17 sanitary manholes.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of
Pump
there's a lot of
chambers.
components involved in that system that
Lot of
really
tricks.
all need to really be inspected, that the stone that they're set on, I mean, the actual flow
Yeah,
test and all of them, I
system,
mean,
yeah.
some of them are pretty involved.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, towns like Hanover are charging $850 for, according to this record, for, which one is this? Residential 10,000
right.
plus. So this makes sense.
It's a lot more involved in terms of work, so.
Does someone wanna make a motion, as far as these numbers that we had?
You wanna go all of them, or do you wanna do these
Just the one-
separate?
Just the ones that we've changed, I mean, if we wanna just make a motion to change, I mean, I'll do it if you want.
No, I can do it. I'm gonna make a motion that, on the Hanson Board of Health fee schedule, we, take the funeral director's license and increase that to $125. On disposal works construction permits, residential, up to 2,000 gallons per day, that be increased to 300. Residential, 2,000 to 5,000. Would be increased to 400. Residential, 5,000 to 10,000 gallons per day, would be increased to 600. Business, 2,000 up to 5,000 would be 500. The increases would be to 500, and then business 5,000 plus would be 800.
And that's-
One more,
Yep.
and the septic component replacement be increased to $250.
Okay. Do we have a second?
And then, did we already do the?
Why don't we include the perk test fees too, just to be safe?
Was that here?
I know we already did, but,
Oh, we already did. You're right.
we already did, but if you wanna just add that as well.
Okay, and then we will add on, where did I write it down? Perk test, blah, 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 blah.
Half day.
Perk test for 1/2 a day is $50 an hour, up to 4 hours,
Well, it'd be
minimum.
300,
It's 300?
yeah. This
Okay.
is the fees that we're,
Not what we're paying
you know,
him.
we're paying, so it'd be it'd be up $300.
$300, okay.
$600 for a
So
full.
perk test observationals, for a half day is 300, and up to a full day is 600.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have it all scribbled out.
All right, so.
No, I have it all, I wrote it all down,
All
thank
right.
you.
Fiscal year 26 budget reevaluation.
That's the very last
Is it?
page. Nope, the very last page. Keep going.
Move this out of the way. That's number 4. Oh.
Yes.
So, Teresa, can you kind of just walk us through?
Yep, so the
Going on.
top portion is the Board of Health budget.
Yep.
The third column over is what the original request was when the budget was submitted. The second column is what I thought would be the maximum amount that can be cut from that line. And then the third column I left blank so we can like scribble if anybody wants to change stuff. So Lisa had asked everybody to cut 10% from their budget. So 10% of the Board of Health budget would be $14,792. I managed to cut $9,275, so there's still an outstanding $5,517. I mean, I don't, I don't know where else to cut. I didn't touch any of the salaries, obviously.
Right.
Okay.
So the water testing, which, I mean, it might be that we don't do any water testing. Gil's always tests the water at Kalani, but Kalani pays for that. So, but if there comes a time and he needs to test something, we're going to need some type of money to do it. So that's why out of 1,000, I cut 800 out of it and left it at 2. I could put
Okay.
it down to 1.
But how much? It's going to cost more than that.
I want to ask a basic question first.
Yeah.
Are there exceptions to this rationale if we demonstrate that it would cause hardship on the department? Or
No, they
is it
don't care.
mandatory
No.
that we have to
There's a
cut?
$2.9
mandatory.
million deficit. They don't care, or 2.6 million. Yeah.
So we're
I mean,
looking
all
at-
of this is going to be difficult. All of these cuts.
Teresa, just so I understand this, we're looking at 147,919.
That's the,
10% of that is 14,792.
correct.
You were able to come up with 9,275, which leaves us with 5,517.
Still short.
Still short, correct.
And what's untouchable?
The salaries.
Okay.
Well, pretty much everything else is untouchable. I mean, you can't.
Well, it is, but
No,
something's got to be cut. So this is what I went
Salary
with.
is because of union and things like this. So
Correct.
to be clear, that is truly untouchable.
Yeah, the union contract is
Right,
the union
is the
contract.
union
Correct.
So that's. Is there anything else on here that is
No, just the salaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the water testing was an $800 cut. The contracted services, I took the whole thing, $1,725.
And that was for what?
Just various things that could come up, like if Kathy needed to do an inspection or something at a restaurant, or, I mean, you just don't know.
It was a line item for utilizing subcontractor.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Advertising, so we don't do a lot of advertising, but just like the tattoo parlors,
You have to advertise
that
for
has
that.
to be advertised for 2 weeks, 2 consecutive weeks in the local paper. So
Hearings?
yeah, it's public hearings need to be.
So, question on that. Isn't the applicant's cost covering that? I mean, like,
Yes, they do give us a check for that, but the check goes into the general fund, not into this
That's how much
line.
was.
okay, so I just know, like, any time I've applied for any type
No,
of
I do charge them.
meeting that I've paid advertisement costs
But so like,
as an applicant.
I think zoning, and I think this is the way zoning works, and I can't be 100% sure, and I think conservation too, because they do a lot of public hearings. They have a separate escrow account that they put the money into to pay things. We don't have that for this because we don't do a lot of public hearings. The only time we do a public hearing really is if there's a tattoo parlor, because that has to be advertised.
So, okay.
And when they give me the check for the fee, which I want to say it's $90 to advertise for 2 weeks, that check goes into the general fund.
We
It
don't
doesn't
get
go
the money.
into the escrow
It goes
account,
to
because
us.
that's not what our escrow account is set up for. Our escrow account is set up to pay Colin, to pay Jim Donovan to do the reviews for the septic. It's not for Board of Health items like that.
Could that be resolved by having them give you 2 checks and one's for an advertisement fee? No.
No, I don't think so.
No,
No, they do.
It has to go to general
They
fund.
they do generally give me a check just for the advertising, because I wait to get the invoice in from, just in case something changes. I don't want to have to go back to them and get more money. But it does go into the general fund. So
When we gave
cutting
up our
to-
enterprise account,
cutting
gave up the ability to hold that money.
cutting from 400 to 150. I mean, well, is 150 enough? I think that's a pretty good size buffer, considering how often do we do public hearings. But you never know. Like if the paper goes up on their pricing, we need to have enough to cover it. Office supplies, I only cut 100 out of that because that's like ink for our printers, like any office supply that we need, pens.
So, can our office supplies come through downstairs?
No. Everybody has their own office supply line. Downstairs pays for toner for this machine. They pay for the plotter, and they pay for paper. Other than that, it's our responsibility for anything else.
So we're gonna
Like if our chair breaks,
you fix it.
well, I
Not
mean,
fix it,
and
but
like
not you
no,
fix
I'm not gonna
it,
fix the
but
chair.
they're
I
not
would
gonna
want
buy a new
chair
one.
if I'm gonna sit in it for 8 hours. But yeah, so yeah, so that's why I was like, I mean, we can't, because if we need something, we need something,
Right.
you know. Medical supplies, that was 2,000. I cut the whole thing. Travel was
Is that COVID kits?
no COVID kits we get free from the state.
Good,
So.
thank you.
But if, okay, medical supplies.
Travel has been 0 and it still is 0. Membership dues 500. We haven't touched that in a long time. We haven't touched the medical supplies in a long time either. So membership dues I brought down to 100. Meetings and mileage from 3,000 to 500.
Mm-hmm.
Gil can put in mileage. He chooses not to. So
And nobody else is getting paid mileage.
no. Other health expenses, it was at 1,700. I brought it down to 200. I don't really know
Under that.
would be under that, but just probably some weird quirky thing that would pop up that,
So, okay.
you know, out of the blue. And VNA services we can't really touch because that pays for the public health nurse.
Right, which we need for Maven.
Right.
And
So, anybody disagree with any of those?
Water testing?
Yep.
Is 200 sufficient to keep people safe?
Yeah, so the only water testing that the office does is Kiwani,
Right.
right? Kiwani pays for that. That's their responsibility. So the invoices get sent directly to them.
Got it.
This is just if something weird happens and we need to test water, we need to have the money to do it.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
So if it was a public health crisis and the water needed to be tested, we would have $200 to do that. If it was like something bigger than that, downstairs is going to have to cough up money to pay the bill.
Got it. Thank you.
You know. So we're $5,500 short on that.
With
Oh.
the cuts that you've recommended in the max cut column.
Correct.
Got it.
So transfer station, again, there are 2 things that we can't touch. We can't touch the transfer station attendance salary line, which is the first item, and we can't touch the uniforms because those are both contractual.
so is it 1,000 each for the uniforms?
Yes, they get $1,000 per year, paid out twice.
Twice.
I mean, these are all just expenses. I don't see how we can really cut anything. I mean,
Well-
how do you cut?
Disposal
How do you cut
services?
electricity?
Well, I didn't cut electricity.
No, I'm just saying
Yeah.
that I'm looking
Because
at
the
it, what-
electricity line, it tends to be pretty high, so I left it at 500. The expense line, which is like things that they purchase at the hardware store, Ace Hardware, I cut that in half. But part-time wages, so it was at 2,200,
22,000.
22,000, sorry, cut it to 500, so that would be
Is that
for,
Brian?
it's for Brian, and it's, if, you know, there was discussion of getting another, you know, like a floater person in.
But I don't think we can.
Right. So
He's
it's gonna
grandfathered in?
I mean, it doesn't have to be cut by 500. That's up to you guys, but that's what I cut it down to. And again, we're short, 10% is $36,000.
I know.
I managed to cut 27,500, which still leaves $8,500.
The problem with
Short.
cutting the part-time attendant, if someone's out sick,
Right.
he comes in. If somebody takes a vacation day on a Saturday, he comes in. That would leave us we wouldn't have the ability to have him really do that.
So let me look.
We have to close if we only have one person.
I don't
That's
think
my
you have
concern
to
with
see
that.
that's I disagree with them having to close. I don't know why one.
With one person?
Hold on.
My understanding was a long time ago that the union would not allow one person to be there by themselves because it wasn't safe.
I don't know that
person
that's.
got injured.
I don't know that that's written in the
Huh?
contract.
You
I
disagree with
said
that?
I really can't disagree with that.
Well, saying that
Yeah, I mean,
two
that,
people?
yeah, that
I'm looking to see. Hold on.
That was always my understanding. That was
Well, there's
part of the
potential that
union.
things could happen there.
right.
So,
Yeah, because if somebody got injured and then there's nobody there to help them,
so that would require a closure.
Hold on.
it would.
When one is out, you close it
Uh,
out.
Right, when there's only one person working.
One person.
Right.
We've been fortunate that one guy will run the transfer station. We've had, when we had two people out, we had highway there filling in. And
That costs us
got
more
taken
money.
out of this part-time fund here, so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a gamble, no question about it.
I'm just gonna look to see how much. I
See how many hours he's put in?
I'm gonna look to see how much has come out of that line. Hold on.
Yeah, because I run into him up there a couple of times. And he does cover days off.
I mean,
Or sick
it was not that long ago that it used to run with one person all the time. Hold on. It's very slow.
Not since I've been on the board.
If it impacts safety or the service proposition of the board,
What happened now?
I can't recommend making cuts that will have those impacts. I'm sorry.
Oh.
For safety.
So
Of
I
course,
understand
it's
we've been
not
asked, but I
responsible.
can't. I'm not going to compromise
Well-
safety or service level.
Not that significantly, no.
Nope.
I mean, we can see how much we've used him, but
That's what. Yeah. Hold
to
on.
cut it
There
down
was-
to that, that's not safe.
Let me see. Let me see.
But that prohibits us from meeting the requested amount. So what's our response?
It does.
If we can't reasonably meet the amount requested,
There we go.
what do we do? Because I think that's where we're going to land.
And I'm
They're gonna
sure
cut hours
that-
at the transfer station.
That's what I was just gonna say. They'll close this down
Yeah.
a day. They absolutely want to close
Let
it
me
down a
see.
day
Hold on now.
to make up for it, but that creates other
So
problems.
year to date, we've spent $287 out of that line.
But that's 2 months, 3 months, not even 3
No,
months.
it's no.
Oh, you start in,
It's July
July?
1st. Yeah, this is all fiscal year.
and how
So
much?
it is over allocated right now at 22,000.
Yes, oh yeah,
Well over allocated.
Yeah.
right.
That's good news.
The reason
Yeah.
that's there is that we had hopes, I think, probably a year.
That
Yeah,
we wanted
to hire
get somebody
an additional
part-time.
person.
minimum part-time.
But we can't without giving them full benefits and a bunch of other things.
Right.
We can't do that, so I can see cutting it down.
Is 500 too much of a gamble? I heard that word thrown earlier. I think it is. If we're
We do
It's a
1,000?
gamble, no question about it. I mean, like I said, we're unfortunate that, it will run with one person, but that's, their choice to decide to run with one person. They're not being forced to run with one person.
Right, could
so-
we, 1,000?
You could do whatever you want. This was just what
But how, what'd you just say year-to-date we've used two?
287.
Okay, so then $1,000 would,
We have a full
how many
quarter left.
days is that? Like 2 days, 3 days?
I don't know.
You
This
know,
is just
no,
go in the budget. It's
Because he works 8-hour shifts. And I know I've seen him there a couple times. Anyway,
I can hold on. I can look someplace else to see.
I agree it doesn't have to be that high, but 500 is too low.
Time off tracker. Let me see. Brian. Bear with me. So
So we want to.
Good.
So he's worked 87 hours. 87 hours? That can't be right. Hold on.
You must be working for $1 an hour. It's that rate.
And the hazardous waste day line item, that's our contribution to doing the hazardous waste days with
With the
the
group?
other towns,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and that's how much we need to contribute is 1,500.
No, so we could use some of the
RDP.
RDP funds to cover the cost of that, a lot of that stuff.
So we need 3,000 for that.
I mean, it used to be 10,000.
And
That
that's
budget
right.
line item used to be $10,000.
$10,000.
And then we cut it down. No, we
Well,
need
we
to-
didn't cut it down.
Well, Matt Tanis
Matt.
did. At the request, again, just like this, at the request of the select board and the town administrator, it was 10, it was cut down to 5, then it was cut down to 3.
But what do we actually need for that?
So, they renew the contract with whoever is doing the pickup, so you generally don't know, but, we host one, we're involved in one every year, and sometimes we're the host, sometimes we're just paying for the dumpsters, and it's us and 3 other towns. So,
When we host, the cost is higher to
the
us.
cost is higher, but then when residents go to any of the hazardous waste days, we get the invoice for the charge for their disposing of items.
Depending on the weight of the volume of what they dispose of.
Yeah.
But we're in the middle of trying to build a hazardous waste.
But that's not gonna be
Permanent.
done this year,
No,
right?
it's not going to be
No.
done this year. But we're in
Yeah.
the process of building something that's going to be in Hanover.
I mean, is $3,000 better to have? Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just wondering what we need for that, that's all.
You think it's more or less, or what it's used for? You're
That's
saying
why I'm asking.
That's what it's used for. It's used for, so if you go to one of the hazardous waste days and you have a full load of material, we get an invoice for the 10 people that went to the Hanover hazardous waste day.
How much are those invoices?
they're all
They
different.
vary because you don't know how many people are going to show up.
And it depends on how much they bring. If you bring a half load, it's just one rate. If you bring a full load, it's a higher rate.
Yes.
This is oil-based paints and oils and things
Yeah,
like this.
or like, stuff that you do
Pesticides,
with your
everything.
Yep.
with your grass and, yeah,
Any kind of chemicals. You don't want people dumping in the water.
right.
And there's no charge for
Oil.
people to attend hazardous waste day. It's a
No.
service to the community. Got it.
Yep. So, yeah, is 3,000 better? Yes, but I again, the less you can
And what was
cut
our
from the budget, the
contribution?
more they're gonna wanna shut the transfer station
Okay.
for days. And what was our, what did you say?
No, I was going to say, what was our contribution toward the hazardous waste this year that we paid? I can't remember, but it can come out of RDP, I think.
Yes, but again, we got considerably less RDP this year.
Everybody did.
I don't care about anybody else. It's like your kid does this, I don't care what anybody else's kid does. I care what my kid does. Like, we only got like $6,000. And
Right.
I've been spending a lot of that money, and I would use it for mattresses and stuff. They sent the new paperwork, you can't use it for mattresses anymore. So.
You mean to pay?
Mhm.
Teresa, do you feel like you've made cuts reasonable?
Yeah, I mean, is it stuff I think needs to be cut? No.
Beyond this, to make up the difference between the shortfall, the 5517 and the 8517.
Hmm. I don't know what else there can be cut.
Right.
There really isn't.
There isn't.
God, we're bare to the bone for 20 years now.
Yeah.
It's hasn't changed in 20 years. Bare to the bone all the time.
And like the disposal services and mainly the disposal services, that's Harvey coming up to the transfer station and hauling stuff away and paying for that type of stuff. We don't have a contract right now, so if they say we're going up $100 on every
There's nothing
haul,
we can do.
there's not a damn thing we can do about it. So, I mean, you look at the invoices, there's a few Harvey invoices in there, and the price is only going up, it's not going down.
don't see where we can make more cuts. So the part-time attendance wages, did you want to bring that up maybe to 1,000 instead of down to 500?
I mean, 500, that's an extreme cut.
Oh, I know, from 22.
But-
That is an extreme cut.
But trying to cut $36,000 off of a budget that's already pretty bare bones is kind of hard.
Yep. I think where we're at is, I think the best we're gonna do as far as what I'm saying.
I think it
Yep.
it demonstrates best attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want the attendance wages to stay at 500?
I would go up to 1,000 to be sure. Yeah, that would make sense. That would be the only change.
That would be, yeah.
1,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't see any extra money anywhere.
No, there's not.
There isn't, there's just, it's fair.
The thing is, and you can't even think about where do you cut.
Yeah, there's not a lot to cut. I mean, it's been cut year after year after year. I mean, well, just like the hazardous waste day, that used to be a $10,000 budget. For years, it was $10,000.
Yeah.
Until it was asked to be cut
Yeah.
by Matt, and Matt just cut it.
I think that other departments will be facing a similar challenge.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Yeah,
this
where's the
isn't necessarily what we're cutting and what we're doing. This is just like a plan B.
This is us saying,
Right.
this is what we think.
I'll
we could do.
I'll give this to them,
Right.
and they can
Yep.
do with it what they see.
Good.
Right.
But that's the best attempt.
Okay.
And that, Kevin, as you said, this is if the override doesn't pass. These are the cuts that are required.
This is a proposal just so we're
Yeah.
kind of ahead of it.
Yeah, because they said if the override doesn't pass, they're going to have to cut 26 positions.
I
Across
saw
the
that
town.
somewhere.
Yeah.
There's not even 26 people in this building.
Right.
So,
So that means they're gonna have to spread it, fire, police,
yep.
highway.
Senior center, library, highway.
We're a department, you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You have to construct every minute, so.
Teresa, thank you. That's
Yeah, that was good, Teresa. Septic plans, we have 279 Spring Street. So we had actually approved this plan
We needed to see it for
a
some
while back.
Damien's
Yeah, and what
been
happened
hanging
was,
around a while.
so we had approved it, they filed with conservation, and what happened was a few more things came up during the meetings with conservation. So they had added a few more things to the plan, so the plan is now back in front of us for reapproval.
And it went out for review again.
Yeah, it went out for review, it's been revised, this started back on July 24. So back on July 24 was when this was originally submitted, right here. And then we had revisions in September, October, January of 25, February of 25, and then final revisions of review comments on March of 2025. So this is a plan for 279 Spring Street, Damien's Pub. It's a repair of an existing system.
Yeah. Yeah, we can share it. And what were the,
So all of the notes, review
Here?
comments were addressed. So it was 3.5 it was reviewed, 3.7 revisions were submitted. And we are good with the revision on this, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so all the review notes have been corrected. What they are looking for is, they have a few variance requests here. So this was one that was on here before that we had approved, but we should still, in my opinion, reapprove it. This was to allow the inverts of the tanks to be within 12 inches of modeling. The second one is, they're looking for a variance from 15254 2A to allow the soil absorption system over 2,000 gallon per day to be exempt from pressure dosing. So what Title V says is that over 2,000 gallon per day is supposed to pressure dose. This system makes more sense to be a gravity fed system rather than, it's a pump system to gravity. So it's from this pump chamber here to the distribution box here to multiple distribution boxes, gravity. Pressure distribution doesn't always make sense, so they're looking for relief from that. because they're over 2,000 gallon per day, and that's what Title V says. Number 3, they're allowing, to allow the,
Sorry, I don't
Yeah.
know a lot about this. Is
Yeah.
there any concern that waste will remain in the line without the pressure system?
so here's your, this is the,
It's got a pump, right?
this is a grease trap.
Yep.
This is a 5,000 gallon septic tank. And then it goes gravity fed to a 6,000 gallon pump chamber. These are all currently in the ground, the existing system, they're gonna remain.
Yep.
So they're essentially gonna, this force main, this is coming off a pump, there's a pump in this tank.
Yep.
Pumping from here through this force main to that D-box. They're gonna at some point, somewhere in here, interrupt this pipe, cut it.
Yep.
And then replace all of this. So from here to here is gravity. So basically what you have is 2 outlets out of this distribution box. This is set level, this evenly distributes here. And then from here, you have all these rows. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows.
Yep.
Pipe and stone. It's corrugated pipe, stone, all going this way.
I get it.
So the third item they're looking for is to allow the leaching field to be 6 feet from a drain pipe. So this is one of the things that came up when they filed with conservation. So out here at the street, there's a 12-inch reinforced concrete pipe that runs through the parking lot out to here. And this wasn't on the plan originally. That came up when they filed with conservation. They located that. So now that they're aware that this is here, they're looking for a variance to be from 6 feet away from that.
Does this need to be inspected?
So what they're gonna do is, so this pipe, if they expose it here, when they do the remove of the old system, what they'll end up doing is just, inspect it, make sure it's structural, that kind of thing. But on the ends, I mean, I think they cleaned it out. I don't think they're not doing anything with it. It's just an existing drainage pipe that's there. But what they are gonna do is they have a membrane along that as well.
Okay.
Just like they put for breakout, they'll put a membrane around the edge of the field, so they're gonna run one along the side of that.
Yeah, I can see, yeah.
Let's see. And then another one was there to allow the use of a sieve analysis, which is pretty standard, we see a lot of that.
And this goes back to 2.
So 5 and 2 are kind of
Yep.
similar.
Yep.
I think they just covered the bases on here, but allow gravity distribution instead of pressure dosing. So it was really like 3 of them, I think, that got added to it. The pipe, the pressure dosing, relief from that, and then I think the sieve analysis. I don't know if that was on there originally, but either way,
No,
Is that new?
it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No, they had asked for a sieve, they didn't put it on the plan, I hand wrote it in on the
Oh,
plan.
so then they had to
And
have it
then-
put in.
Yeah.
Okay.
but I think we should approve the plan as proposed, not like pick items and
No,
add to it.
just
Just
go to what's
yeah,
now, what's
clean and do the
updated.
whole thing again. Yep.
Good.
Any questions, comments?
Nope. I'll make a motion that we accept the plan for 279 Spring Street with variances requested on the plan.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So, do you want me to make a note or anything on here? This was signed back when we approved it before.
Yeah, just change the date,
11,
because
12,
now it's 3 years from
I'll just
today.
I'll just do another one on the bottom. I'll leave that just right below.
Okay.
Yeah. Look this one up.
So that was the only septic plan that we had.
Mhm.
Old unfinished business. We had transfer station, body art regulations, transfer station stickers. What do we think about revisiting any of those items?
The stickers really
We have
need
to.
like,
We have to.
really need to make a decision. Because I still have to have them printed and everything, and it takes a
And then
while.
start getting the information out.
Alright, so stickers, I guess.
So if
Where we
you,
at with stickers?
if you
What do we-
refer
what
to
do
the
we
light
think?
blue piece
Yep.
of paper,
I asked Todd, but he couldn't attend.
Yes,
And
I
I-
reached out to him last week and he told me he couldn't attend. So right now, the stickers are under the column fiscal year 25, we're at $65 per sticker. $2.45 per bag.
Yep.
So,
Is unfinished business or just approving this change? Or,
yeah, because it's been on the agenda for the past 2 months.
We never voted on it, we haven't discussed it. It was.
So Todd had recommended for fiscal 26 to be $80 and the bags to go up to $2.60 per bag.
have the financials changed in any way that would skew Todd's projections to put us in the black on this? Is the
Well, we
intention of
have
this-
a deficit of 2.6
We're gonna have a bigger deficit than we.
Well,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
Well-
so, go ahead, I'm sorry.
not as a town, just as the board, it's like the costs of,
I mean, again, we don't have a contract,
yep.
so who's to say what they're going to charge for, what was the charge that they went up on, was it the hauling cost?
147 something.
And just that little change, it wasn't a ginormous change, it adds up to like over $36,000 for the year.
So, this was all created, has this been revised or looked at by
Has-
Todd? I think that's kind of what Peter was getting at. When
No,
this
I
was
mean, he's
created-
aware of it and
But he
was,
wanted it to be a slow increase and not whack people. So,
No, right, I understand that, but when Todd had drafted this, it was
a
back
year,
when-
2 years ago?
it was last year.
Last year?
Good company from Damien's.
We're in a meeting. Yeah, we're in a meeting, so you'd have to, wait till the meeting's over,
Which you can do.
which you can do, or, if you wanna give them a call in the morning.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give you a call.
Okay.
Thank you.
Will be about an hour.
But he was gonna come to the meeting like a month or two ago, so he had looked over it
Mhm.
recently. And when I reached out to him, he told me to just call him tomorrow. Like we haven't said to him our deficit's grown or what, he just thought that it was
Right, but
gonna be,
he's reviewed this, I mean, for accuracy, that he thinks we're still on track with what his initial projections were.
yeah, I think, yeah, cause I think he didn't wanna scare people away by going higher faster.
Right,
Thank you, Kevin, that was my question. Does this keep us on track?
yep.
Yeah?
If it does, then
When you talked to him, you didn't talk about this, you
Still
just
support
wanted
this
to know
guy.
if he could come, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I said it was the bag discussion and the sticker discussion,
right.
the revisiting of cost. Yeah, I don't know.
based on your experience, how do you think it's gonna go over? You had to
I
field
think,
questions on the
yeah,
last
I
increase
think
to
people
65?
were okay with the 65. I'm sure they'll be okay with the 80. I just don't know if 80 is high enough. But again, it's
Right.
trying to weigh
balance.
everything.
If you go higher than 80, how many people
Yeah,
do you
I mean,
lose?
so like, I just think, and again, I know we don't care what other towns are doing, but Hanover has an enterprise fund. Their stickers have always been free. They are now instituting $350 per year per
That's what
sticker.
everybody else has been
I mean,
charging.
that would never fly
different
here.
population.
Yeah, would never fly here, and especially the way the economy is going, I don't think the typical average family can afford that. I just don't.
This is the affordable option for families, so
Yeah.
It is.
keep it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think we should probably continue to follow
The plan?
the plan. And if we have to modify along the way, we can do so, or at least discuss doing so. But I think for now, I think if we follow.
Well, you can't change the sticker.
Well, no,
cost once
well,
they
it would be
start
for
selling.
next
No,
year.
I understand. but
Yeah.
No, for the following year.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying,
Yeah.
If it
So you-
doesn't seem to be working.
So you want to do 80 for the 1 year sticker and 260 per bag.
Yes,
I'm okay with that as long as everyone else.
I am.
Okay.
Do we need a motion?
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah, absolutely.
I will make a motion that we increase the fees for a sticker for 1 year to $80, and the cost of bags to $260 each, as written on our
Effective July 1st.
effective July 1st,
2025.
2025.
I second.
Okay, all
I
in
was
favor?
going to say as proposed in our 3-year plan, but yeah, I'm good. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Alright, so that addresses our stickers for fiscal year 26, Teresa.
Yep.
Transfer station, old unfinished business. Do we want to do anything with the body art regulations? Are we close to getting something from DEP on like a statewide model as far as regulations on that? No?
This is still the model they're working on.
This is well, yeah.
Nina's working on it for the state.
Yeah, it's not them. And I was looking through it today, and I actually was looking through
Is this a continuation from last meeting?
from 2 meetings ago.
2 meetings.
This is
Probably.
regarding the educational requirements for
Yes.
body art.
And I went to
Just our
Bridgewater
regulations.
State
Yeah, but
to
most
see if
requirements.
there was a question as to whether or not we require people to take A&P. Because the first person we had come in took a training through Quincy Board of Health, and that was really good, right. I could not find anything where bloodborne pathogens were covered in anatomy and physiology. So I went over there and I tried to get like a syllabus from one of the classes and look online, and I really couldn't find anything. I've called Quincy Board of Health a couple of times, but they don't call back. So at some point I'm going to go knock on their door.
Just to discuss this through, originally we had requested that the person take A&P, which is a much more
Did we?
expensive, lengthy course.
No, but I'm saying, did we?
I don't know.
When she said that, it was like, I don't remember that we required that.
But my concern 2 meetings ago, and my concern now remains, what is the most affordable path to meet the requirement?
Right.
Is what I would be interested in as a business
Right.
owner. And that is the bloodborne pathogens class versus taking a
Well,
university A&P
not
class.
just bloodborne pathogens.
Right.
Quincy training that incorporates bloodborne pathogens. There were actually 2 different things that she said were covered in A&P, which I don't think are.
I think I'd just be interested in documenting the minimum requirement necessary that you know.
I'd like to bring this up. I'd like to, I've had some discussion with them, and I'd like to, the Abington Board of Health and admin and inspector will work with us on this, work with me on it to go over into their site and review their site. We don't get along very well, so they will work with it. The guy that's working on these regulations, and see if she's in compliance with what she's doing and stuff. And we review what she does have and what she doesn't have. She terminated one of her artists that was approved like 3 weeks before.
One of the,
She terminated the person.
Not the one that was already, not the apprentice, not the new
was
one.
it apprentice?
Just asking the board to agree that.
The last one that came before us?
No, the one before that.
That's
I
right.
think we're getting a little off track here.
Well, yeah, we're talking about 2 different things.
Yes, but I'm trying to.
No, he's talking about something different.
No, I understand you. Can
But
we,
this part of
can we
the
keep that to like the agent's report?
Report.
Like, can we go over that then?
Yeah.
We're trying to focus, like, let's.
I know, that's
just-
what
So-
I'm saying.
We're trying to
What-
focus on the body art regulations.
Yeah.
we
What I can
discussed
try to
before.
do is look and see who else offers the class that Quincy has. Because A&P is expensive. It's probably about $900 for the class, easily.
I mean, yeah, we have to be careful too that we can't just go, okay, they have to take this course as.
No, but if we can find places that offer the training that they need, it doesn't have to be designated that it's Quincy,
Mhm.
but is there a class that in which this group is working on doing something so that everybody has it?
Right.
But I can understand not wanting to make somebody take a class that's $900 and it really doesn't cover all the things that they need.
Right.
But I also want to see what the state. I can't imagine that the state is requiring that they take A&P.
So it requires investigation with the state
Yes.
to understand. Okay, got it.
Yes. And so I want to look and see, are there other places that offer the training for, like Plymouth must have a bunch of tattoo places. I can talk to the Plymouth Board of Health and find out what they do in terms of training.
And other boards.
I just think that the A&P is an expensive class. I know that. but
Yeah.
I also would wanna make sure that it covers everything.
Yeah, I just, to reiterate pretty much what Peter said, I wanna make sure that we're not overburdening someone financially.
Right.
And, making them take classes that really aren't necessary.
necessary.
In order for them to get into that line of work or to open a business in that line of work. So my interest is, again, what Peter had said, that making it economically feasible for someone to take a class and it satisfies our requirements.
Yep.
So I don't know if we wanna, review what some of the other towns are, and then also look into that with,
Yeah, I can look into, I'd
With this
really
thing.
like to see if there's see what the state requires, which I have the requirements, and look and see who offers the training that they need. Sometimes it might be, maybe it's an outside company, maybe it's not the Quincy Board of Health. When you do the food thing, there's a bunch of different
I don't think
companies
it's,
that do that.
I wonder if we're overcomplicating it. I think it's just having clarity around the state's requirement and publishing that.
right.
Oh,
And then we review the evidence that they provide and say, is it sufficient?
right,
Yes or no? That's our job.
okay.
Yep.
Am I off?
No, for some reason, I thought the state required A and P, but I have to look at it.
Okay.
I would have to look at it.
And do you need help with that?
No,
Are you sure?
yep.
Okay.
All right, so Gil, I guess if you wanna go into your agent report, and you can go back to
Yeah,
what
I
you were
just want,
discussing on
this is what I'm trying to do, get them on board, to review everything, the operation, and the requirements we have, and, see if everything is in the right order. It has to be done there. So, they agreed to do with it, and this issue's going there. And, the thing she did when she let the person go, I mean,
But I will say, she did call and let us know, and she
so.
called me and said, this is what happened, this is why, and just so you guys are aware, which I thought was
Just
nice.
want to get a better perspective on
So,
this.
so just to hit the brakes for a second, so in a situation with something like that, what do we do as far as the license that we've issued them? Like, that person had an apprentice license, correct?
But it was under Sinners and Saints.
So that,
And
They
it
can't
says
go anywhere
Sinners and
else.
Saints
Yeah.
on it.
okay, so
So-
there's no reason to consider, revoking or suspending that apprentice license or anything like that? Because
It
it's
was
it's
revoked,
really-
I mean, but,
it's fine.
yeah.
They can't utilize it anywhere else.
No, I printed the email that she sent, and I put it in the folder, with the permit.
Do we need to be concerned with the, why the person was let go?
Probably because they were doing piercing.
There was,
No, she
No.
explained in the phone call what he was doing. He was tattooing when he shouldn't have been.
Okay. Got
Was
it.
one of the
Are they
things.
supposed to be under guidance?
Yeah,
Yeah, that apprentice is supposed to be
yeah,
supervised.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, she let him go.
Sounds like she made the right move.
She did,
Great.
and she let us know about it, which I thought was nice.
Because that's her business.
Yeah, well, that's her name, yeah.
like I said, I'd just like to have these guys come in and review it, what they should have, what we shouldn't have, and, make sure it's in compliance. And that's no cost to us, they're willing to do this.
I was gonna ask about the cost, it's like who's paying them.
I just worry we're too much in this person's business,
Right, now, yeah,
muddled
yeah.
relationship, I'd say let's keep it
That's
professional.
trying to do that, so.
What is she still waiting for to get her permit?
She has her permit.
She does.
There's a permit. just
What, the final inspection?
The final inspection.
No, he hasn't done them.
No, so she's waiting for a final inspection.
But she has her license to operate, because Gil told her she
What-
could operate.
What was missing when the inspection was done the last time that didn't close out the loop?
We allowed her to open up, she was still treating up, she hadn't finished treating up. So, we gave her leeway, we gave her time to finish up
Okay.
and everything. And
So has she done that?
she's supposed it's all done. And then she presented the people that were working there, those apprentices were working there, but they weren't licensed.
But that's different from her getting her permit for her business. So, I'm not talking about the apprentices. I'm talking about the physical stuff that she needed to do.
I did not complete the physical. And then,
So is there a reason that's not done now?
I gave her extra time. No, I'm, gonna proceed, and she doesn't want me to proceed.
So the last thing that has to be done is that inspection, the last part of that inspection. So at this point, is it better to let somebody else go in so that there's not more, do you know what I mean? Because it sounds like she doesn't want him back in there, for whatever reason.
I mean, I look at it this way, he has a job to do.
Yep,
They have a business they want to run. If they want to run the business, they need to allow him to do his
Right,
job.
exactly.
I mean, we're not here to make all, if there was a particular reason and a conflict, but just the fact that they've, they haven't got along in the past, I mean, to me, is not a reason to make special accommodations, and we're gonna go spend more money that we don't have to have an outside contractor go in.
but that's why I asked, was it gonna cost us anything, and he said no.
Right, but
No, they
I
agreed.
think it's very simple. They want to run their business in town, they need to allow our health agent to go in and do his inspection, what they need to do. If there's a certain reason that they don't want to be there at that time, they could have another employee or someone accompany Gil if they don't get along. I mean, they can
Right.
make the accommodation as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that's really our job. They need to allow us in to do our job if they want to operate in the town of Hanson. That's how I feel about it.
I don't know. And you weren't here the meeting when she was here.
I was here at the meeting before,
But last meeting she was here, right?
again,
Yeah, they
it's
were
my
there.
third time here.
No, she wasn't here the last meeting. One of her
Apprentices?
was here. Yeah.
So it was a meeting before that we talked with her and she was here.
I think it would benefit her and the town to manage the relationship so that going forward, inspections are occurring and, we don't have to provide special accommodations. It's good for the business owner, it's good for us.
Yeah.
Like,
I think she just
think
felt
that's-
like things with her permit was being held back.
Mhm.
And I think she got frustrated with that
Mhm.
because she didn't feel like she hadn't done what she needed to do. That
The
she shouldn't
permit
have
wasn't
this
held
permit.
back, and allows her to open up, and
I'm just telling with the way she appeared. She was frustrated that this whole thing hadn't been closed up.
And I think part of it too is that our regulations have not been tested because we've never had a tattoo establishment in the town of Hanson. So I
Well,
think,
we had the other guy before her. We've had nothing.
right, but
other
no
than-
one ever focused on the regulations, and like
Right.
Peter had said, I would probably become frustrated too with how they're written and some of it that it doesn't.
Mhm.
Some of it doesn't make sense. I mean, so I think that's probably part of the frustration. I think we can get over that and do what we need to do and go in there. And if they want to run their business in town, they need to allow us to do so.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be some common ground there. And if there's really that much of an issue between the health agent and the business owner can choose to let someone else accompany him on the property. They don't have to be present. I mean, there's things they can do. I don't think we need to make this into some big thing that it's not. And if we can't get on the property to do what we need to do, they're not in compliance, and as far as I'm concerned, they can't continue to operate. So, it needs to be worked out.
Gil, what will that look like for you?
well,
Like,
I
you best
mean,
attempt with the business owner to manage the inspection?
yeah,
trying again.
like I said, having the independent person would be good, but just to make sure things are done. But we'll notify her and say, look, it's got to be this way, because I'm just trying to give some leeway here, not saying
Yeah, it sounds like
we're given so much leeway to begin with.
you're in the 11th mile. Like,
Yeah.
it's just about done.
Yes.
So, sounds reasonable to communicate that to the business owner as well.
Okay. Other things in the file is the agent's report is the bird flu thing that everybody's talking about. Hanson never really had any cases of bird flu. The two cases were Plymouth and Halifax. There was reports of dead birds here and there, but the birds had to be in flocks and they had to be a minimum of 5. We never really had any strikes in Hanson. There was a strike in Burridge, but Mass Wildlife handled that. supposedly the birds were in Hanson, but Mass Wildlife, it was their duty to take care of that stuff. They took care of it, and plus the testing for the bird flu could take a month or two. So that's been put to bed. Hopefully it's gone until the next flocks come in that are sick. Supposedly there's nothing in the area right now. They're talking maybe with, warm weather, chickens and stuff, it might happen, but the USDA's got pretty much everything, intact on this stuff. More inspections in the chicken places and stuff, but it starts with chickens, so hopefully it'll never come to Massachusetts. So that's the big thing. We had a few issues. We have inspections. We got that inspection committee working, and they're trying to develop it more. We have fire department, building inspector. We got a brand new building inspector and conservation agent, reviewing all the permits that go out as far as common victual and all that, trying to put this all together so we're inspecting at the same time, not different times, and finding people that are non-compliant in certain things. So it's going to work out pretty good. We had another meeting this morning, and the building inspector's on board with what we're trying to do here, and hopefully it's going to work out pretty good. What else I have here? And just some of the health issues coming down the pike. I mean, it's all public health stuff, the measles thing, all things they want you to learn about, like some of the things that are, non-mandated funding, stuff like that. Whole measles thing coming down the pike, they want you to be, actively, studying it and, tracking it. And it's typical, take this class, take that class. So
For the health agent or the public health nurse to do that?
health agent and public health nurse, both. It comes down to both. So. We've had a couple of small incidents. We had a broken water line up at 1280 Main Street and created a problem. It was repaired. Not too much really happened there. One business was shut down for a few hours due to water and electricity. We report. There's a bunch of different things. Kathy's Kitchen over there, that shut down unexpectedly. That did get water in it. There's a new company taking it over. Hopefully by April 15th they'll open it up. Septic systems, Shaw's is fading up the Planet Fitness. That's going to take place next few months. They're reviewing more, revising more refrigeration units over there. What else? That's pretty much it in a nutshell. The past month and a half I've been sick a couple of days a week for about 2 or 3 weeks now, so. But,
Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good, I guess. So, that's about it for now.
Did you say Planet Fitness is going in?
Yep.
That's
Right over
great.
here.
Yeah. So,
Woo woo.
they started working
Public
on
health
that.
boost right there, putting a big old gym in town. That's
Yeah.
affordable for everybody.
Is it really going to be Planet Fitness?
Yeah.
I have a membership that I'm paying for that I haven't used, and I can't tell you how many.
Well, now you won't have any excuse.
That's what I said to
Captain America.
Sean Derry yesterday. It's like, crap, now I have no excuse.
That's great.
When's it opening?
They're going before zoning in April.
Yeah. It'd be,
So-
probably May.
May, June.
Yes. That poor space is haunted. But I've never seen them move out of a space that they were in Plymouth, they moved from one building, but they don't disappear.
Where?
When they were in Plymouth, sorry.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Do we,
About the master plan, did you?
do we have anything else, Teresa?
No.
Anything you want to bring up? Gil, anything else you want to bring to the board's attention?
No, just the master plan. Are you going to go to that?
On the
Did you-
24th.
No, so they can't, so,
I can't go.
I think me and Peter were both available, Tuesdays and Wednesdays?
Yeah, I
I
can't do
originally
Monday
asked what the board's availability was. They were available Tuesdays, and they were available Wednesdays in April. I sent that to Conservation, and Conservation came back and said, well, it's gonna be on a Monday after a planning board meeting. And I said,
Well,
okay,
hallelujah.
but
I'll be at work.
my board specifically said that they could not come on Mondays.
I can go on the 24th if you need me to. If you need me to go, I can make it work out.
Yeah, I work until 10 o'clock, so if they
Yeah.
want to wait,
I
so I
can
can
go.
get here at 10:30, I'll meet with them.
If attendance is still needed, I'll go on the board's behalf.
Great. So,
Yeah.
is it the 24th? Is that the definitive date?
I think it was the 24th.
Okay.
That sounds
So I'll
right.
call them the.
I remember whenever you
You
sent
bet,
it to me, I.
Thank you.
Am I needed in like some official capacity or as like just a participant, like just discussions? Yes.
Yeah, well, so,
On implement- 'cause I was also on the planning
I don't say, you're also on the board, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
24th.
Conservation, they're just asking for the land use boards to be involved for input.
Great.
And nobody was available on
Is it
Mondays.
input for like a specific
Master
site
plan,
or project or
just
something like that?
the master plan for the town.
It's just another plan to go along with the master plan.
There weren't a lot of recommendations
Yeah.
related to the land use component of the master plan. Sidewalk discussions and
Yeah, sidewalks we've been probably talking about forever.
yeah.
We're gonna have to win the lottery to
Down
get,
Route
sidewalks.
58. Sidewalks down Route 58.
No, it was up
Main
58?
Street, Main
about
Street.
This way?
and then what's the other one that goes down behind Main Street and connects it to Liberty
High Street?
High Street. Connecting Liberty High and Main was one of the discussions.
Oh,
What
then
about
those,
people on the other side of town
those
that live
people
on Route
that walk to the
58?
train station,
That's
that's
the-
what they're doing.
That's the point.
That's the people that walk to the train station. The commuters, every morning, they're
Also-
down there.
Also makes that MBTA funding pretty a little bit more accessible.
Right. Yeah, but there are a lot of people that walk. I know because you're further away, but you can't walk from
Yep.
your house down there.
So if we don't have any other business to discuss, we wanna adjourn the meeting, or everyone good?
Really? Aren't you having fun?
He is, you can tell he is. I can't wait to leave.
So,
I'll make a motion to
motion
adjourn.
to adjourn,
Second.
second, all in favor to adjourn?
Aye.
5:27.